It's Arnie, exactly. Welcome to the Roleplay Mechanic, where I like to show you how not to play Pathfinder. Today is the Druid. I have gone through the Druid and assessed it's kind of capable of doing everything. As I said earlier, it is a Swiss Army knife. So how is it possible that we can play the Druid wrong? Well, as you can currently see here, this will be our Druid for this week. We are going to be playing basically the Terminator, and I'm so excited to show you why and how. It's really good. The best part is we are following the rules as they are written. We are totally raw dogging this Druid. So, as I like to say, in order to know how to do something wrong, you have to know what is right. The Druid is a full spellcaster. What does it primarily do? Cast spells. How does that do it? Widest variety. It is under the primal spells, which, unlike other traditions, this one is capable of doing a little bit of everything. You got damage, you got healing, you got support, you got melee, you got range, you got debuffing, you got buffing. Literally has it all. It might not be super good in any of those categories, but it can basically do just about anything within those types of categories. So how is it possible to play a Druid wrong when it's capable of doing literally anything? One could argue, oh, you don't cast spells, obviously you paid playing the Druid wrong. Well, I've said this before on other full casters, if we're not using their spells, then we're basically not using any of their class features, and then we may as well just be doing this on literally any other kind of one. It does make a difference. So, how do we still use our stuff and things as a Druid, but incorrectly? Well, flavor. We can reflavor how things are said, described, how we work with things. And that's actually part of the rules. There's a segment somewhere within the rulebooks that specifically state that you are allowed to re-describe how you do spells. And boy howdy do I have some fun variety of things on how you can play mechanically the Druid, but in roleplay, you're just gonna be a machine of destruction. Let's get right into this. Starting at level 1, we are picking up, obviously, the Automaton. This will give you pretty much the perfect chassis for things of being like a metal individual that is like, it's pretty much exactly what you want. You are a bloody automaton. Background, I have chosen Time Traveler. There's a background called Time Traveler. I found this from some other game. I don't quite remember exactly what it is, but if you really want to stick to specifically the Terminator, we go with the Time Traveler. Literally a Terminator. And last but not least, of course, we are picking up the Druid class. Starting at level 1, pick whatever kind of automaton you want, however you want to feel like some kind of destructive robot. I went with the Hunter Automaton, which gives me kind of a creepy-like ability where we can go on all fours. We get increased movement speed, but we feel a little bit more extreme and aggressive if we're just running around on all fours, shooting out missiles and sending out drones and whatnot. I love the flavor of this thing that says we're on all fours. Yeah, we're going with that. For our automaton feat, we're going with Energy Beam. This allows us to have an unarmed attack that we can fill in 2 actions, cast a spell, 3rd action, shoot an Energy Beam. You can also use this for some other potentially fun shenanigans because this is a unarmed attack. Specifically, it says in here, you gain an Energy Beam ranged unarmed attack that deals fire damage and some other stuff. This is very milkable for a variety of different things. You might even be able to find some other spells that enhance or manipulate your attacks, such as unarmed attacks. For this build specifically, I don't have anything like that, but you probably could find some things to go along with this, and then just focus on laser beaming everyone. This is probably where I am not following rules as written. So, if you are an extremist raw dogger, Fledge, looking at you, this is where we are not following the rules. We will be ignoring the anathema, which I should be perfectly clear. I love anathemas and edicts. They're the coolest role-playing mechanics here. You said the thing. But because we are basically playing a Terminator, we're just going to ignore these things. So we're playing the game wrong. Ta-da! Now, for attribute boosts, all that kind of good stuff, we're just going to top off wisdom so we can enhance all our quote-unquote spells, end quote. Not really using spells. Not describing them as spells, at least. And for our druidic order, I thought it would be most fitting to go with the flame order, which will give us a cool fire-like abilities, and we just burn everything around us. Now, second level spells, Druid feat will be picking up Verdant Weapon. This allows us to create a seed that grows into a weapon for a single action. Instead, we will be to describe this as simply a unit, a compartment within us, that for a single action, we just unsheath, like a blade comes out of us. Ching! Reflavor this entirely. Fits very well for like some kind of automaton that just ejects some kind of weapon out of you. Next up, also, I did not pick an archetype for this thing. There are plenty of archetypes that you could potentially milk into this one way or the other. If you want to be more of a healer kind of robot, if you want to be a blaster kind of robot, go wild. I left that open-ended. Starting at level 4, we are picking up the Order Explorer, so we can pick up another order. Picking up the Storm Order, so we can now both light things on fire and shoot energy blasts. Very fitting for an automaton, like, evil robot. Additionally, for higher levels, it'll allow us to start picking up Druid feats that are under both the Fire Order and the Storm Order, so we get that nice versatility at higher levels. And last but not least, at level 6, we will be picking up Advanced Elemental Spell. We get our special spell from our order, and I'm going with Combustion. For 2 actions, we just ignite someone. They take instant fire damage and then a bunch of persistent fire damage over time. Just boom! Plenty of ways to reflavor this, and easily fitting for a destructive robot. That's all our feats, very simple kind of things, but the juicy flavor on how we're being a Terminator comes into our spells. Look at this. Starting at the top, we are taking our Arc Weld Discharge, where we use our utility Arc Welder to zap some people. Next up, Micro Missile Volley, where we sent out a bunch of little micro missiles from one of our chest cavities. We will also, of course, be having a headlamp or a shoulder LEDs to light up around us. We will have my personal favorite, a liquid nitrogen injector, because I love liquid nitrogen. And last but not least, a bit of utility, an arcane EM emitter, so we can scan around if anything has arcane attributes. Now, onto first level spells. Also one of my personal favorites, we are picking up Repairing Nanites, where we send out a bunch of nanites either to a specific person. If we're sending all those nanites to one person, it's able to heal that person a lot, or we can just blow up and send the nanites everywhere indiscriminately, and they'll just heal whatever they come into contact and coalesce on each of those people. Then we'll be picking up Thruster Assist, where we engage our thrusters to give us a little extra movement. Some might say a little bit of a tailwind. And I like my utility spells. I decided to go with Seismic Pulse Emitter, as we send a solid boom into the ground with our hydraulics, knocking everyone into the ground. That's first level stuff. Now we go on to third level character with second rank spells. We have Adaptive Shielding, where we have a special kind of energy shield that is able to target specific energies. This will be quite helpful, very utility. Again, primal magic, primal air quotes and quote, and also magic air quote and quote, because these are all just kind of like machines and contraptions that were built with. Yes, adaptive shielding, definitely recommend this. Very, very utility and changeable on the fly when you need it. And of course, we'll be picking up High Voltage Discharge. It's a very simple 2 actions, bolt of lightning at someone. And this one, which I found when I was kind of going about, and I thought about it, I was like, wait, let's get some drones in here. Floating Flame. For 2 actions, we create some kind of floating flame somewhere, and then on subsequent turns, we can use an action to sustain it and move it around. I'm like, what if that's like a drone? Like, we're just commanding some kind of floating drone thing that is just like nuking people wherever it goes. That's really cool. I love my drones. Now on to our 3rd rank spells. We have some iconic ones, very commonly used. We have HE Grenade, or High Explosive Grenade. It is exactly what you think. We pull the pin and throw. Bam! Everyone loves grenades. And of course, we'll be picking up Repairing Nanites, which will allow us to heal significantly better. It's a much more stronger variant, pretty much capable of healing 3 times the amount before for only 2 actions. Good action economy. Prepare, heal at higher rank spells. Trust me. And last but not least, a very simple phrase that all robots know quite well, Overclock. For 2 actions, we go into Overdrive, and we get an extra stride or strike action every turn. Boom. That is how we're going to be playing the Druid wrong. Mechanically, we are playing as raw as possible, with the exception that we are going to be straight up ignoring the anathemas and edicts. But for all of you optimizers out there, I am not ignoring the rules. I know you optimizers don't really care or pay attention to edicts and anathemas. This, I think you'll be perfectly fine with. Reflavor things. Things can get really weird and interesting when you just suddenly do that, because this is still a Druid. Insert giant YouTube arrow thing. Druid here. Yes, I love this one. This was a lot of fun. I'm curious, tell me in the comments down below, what kind of free archetype would you put along with this Druid here? The first one that kind of instantly came to mind was the Arcane Dynamo, where we have some kind of steampunk appendage. But I think that's just kind of beating a dead horse. It doesn't quite exactly work, because we're already a robot. Like, okay, I think we go with something else, maybe something very simple, like a fighter archetype if you want to really lean into the melee. Yeah, tell me what kind of free archetype you think would go really good, specifically with this build where we kind of have a bit of versatility. Healing, support, destruction, but specifically very themed in being a Terminator. And last but not least, of course, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit a like. Please subscribe. I'll be doing this weekly, showing how to play all of these classes wrong. I would love to see some ideas, let me know. I want some feedback. I'm also going to be trying to do a new format where I try to be very direct rather than just kind of messing around. Maybe even doing some shorter videos. See how that kind of works. Anyway, if you like what you see, make the YouTube algorithm happy, and I will see you next week.